Now, on a recent episode of The Watchman, we took a tour of the ancient city of David in Jerusalem, where many believe King David's palace once stood. That episode got such a strong response that our team at Christians United for Israel wanted to dig even deeper into David's legacy and what it means for you today. Because when you think about it, the nation of Israel today is like the shepherd boy David, surrounded by Goliaths that seek to destroy it. The existence of Israel today, against all odds, is proof of God's existence. He is a promise-keeping God, and the life of King David shows that beautifully. So join us and our Israeli tour guide, Menashe Sikorsky, as we walk today in the footsteps of King David. Well, Menashe, we are at one of the most exciting recent finds in Israeli archaeology, Khirbet Qeiyafa, also known as the Fortress of Elah, from a very interesting period in Israel's history. King David's military, Menashe, was here. As sort of the original Israel Defense Forces used this as a fortress. Tell us a bit more about that, the military use of this site.
This site contains 700 meters of wall. It's not that big city, but it's very not a small city or small village.
And this was just excavated, Menashe, in 2007. This is recent, 2007. Another excavation, I believe, in 2010, 2011. Every day in Israel, you're finding some new evidence, some new amazing find proving the Bible. But this is really recent. That's why it's so exciting that we're here today.
The archaeologists who dug here, they found here amazing walls. Amazing walls, but also amazing gate. We can see here very heavy stones, and the stones are a part of a structure of big and strong walls that going around all of this hill. Here we can see the foundation stone of the gate, and we can see here a signs of the doors of the gate was pretty big.
Yeah, you could see you could fit a lot of men through here. And Menashe, it's pretty amazing because King David himself walked through this gate most likely one day, and now you and I, 3,000 years later, are going to walk through this gate inside. Let's go.
Let's go. What we're seeing right now inside the fortress is how organized the fortress was planned and how organized the fortress are built. We can see here first the wall outside, and also we can see how the houses is very organized, house beside another house, beside another house. Here, very close to here, we found one of the main important findings. We found the description dating to the time of David, description which written in ancient Hebrew. It is
3,000 years ago.
3,000 years ago. It is the most ancient description we have ever found here in Israel and all over. These inscriptions talking about morality issues, talking about how to help to the poor people, how to help to the people with bad condition in their life.
Biblical issues.
Very biblical messages, very biblical issues to help to the people, to the poor people, to help the widow, to orphans. It's very important for us as researchers to find this kind of inscription because there is many people who thinking that at the time of David we don't have the Hebrew language.
It also proves that yes, the Hebrew language was here, and yes, King David was here 3,000 years ago. Well, Menashe, we're standing at the site of one of the most significant battles, most famous battles in human history. It didn't involve two armies per se, but two individuals, a boy and a man. David versus Goliath happened right where we're standing right now in the valley of Elah. Over my left shoulder here, in the distance, that brown hill, you have a few trees on top, Azekah. That is where the Israelites, King Saul's army was encamped. And every day, you can picture, Goliath came from that hill, came here to the valley of Elah, at the foot of Azekah, and challenged the Israelites every day. The Bible says he mocked them, he cursed them, challenged them to come and fight every day.
And then David came from the Israeli camp. He went through this creek, took the 5 smooth stones, and came to Goliath, tell him what he should tell him, that he come with the name of God. Down here we can see the river of Elah, which was involved in the battle between David and Goliath.
Now that is where David, the Bible says, picked out 5 smooth stones to use against Goliath.
Yes, he actually came to here and he took stones like this, smooth stone, like we can see here many, and by this stone he was killed Goliath, but not before. He said to him, "You are coming with all of your army equipments, but I am coming for you just with the name of God."
If you could hold that stone up again, it doesn't look like much, but I'll tell you, King David was an expert. Young David, the shepherd boy, was an expert with that sling. And you can see, as he wound that sling up and he slung it at Goliath right in the forehead, you can see how that could be a deadly weapon.
This stone is very strong stone, small one, but can kill even men, huge men like Goliath.
Yeah.
This is what David did. He used his smartness, his belief, and he came to him with what he had. What he had is his belief.
Yeah, and it's amazing because Goliath, the Bible says, had an armor bearer. He was a big guy, obviously, a giant, and he had people carrying all of his equipment, his shield, all this armor, and David comes, just as he was, a small shepherd boy, a teenager, with some stones and a slingshot, but he had a mighty ally on his side, the God of Israel.
Eric, we have a chance here in this specifically place, but in many other places all over the land of Israel, to see the words in our eyes, not just to read them, but also to feel it, to see it on ground. This is why I invite everyone to come to Israel and to see the Bible come alive.